Oh, sorry. Uh, Sorry for the background noise. I got air conditioners, fans going. I got a lot of stuff going on over here, but I saw this video, couldn't help myself. It's a video about who was under the most pressure to get the job done, and either in New England or Tampa Bay, whether it's Tom Brady or Bill Belichick. I think Belichick is under more pressure, and I'm only saying that because with this being the back end of Tom Brady's career, Belichick can coach far longer than Tom Brady can play. So to say Tom Brady, in however many years he has left in his career, has to win a title and Belichick doesn't is ridiculous. To say that Tom is under more pressure to win than Belichick is ridiculous. Belichick, for a number of reasons, is he has the spotlight on him. One reason is he was the one that wanted to move on from Tom. That's not even a secret. That is just blatant fact. He was the one that wanted to move on from Tom. He wanted to move on from Tom years ago. So when you're the one that wants to separate out of a relationship because you think that you could do better without the person that you're with currently, you have to do better. You have to do better. You can't do worse. You can't do worse than what they're capable of doing. You have to supersede what it is you had before because you left the relationship for a reason. And Belichick is a very prideful person. I'm pretty sure that it ate him up to see people glorify Tom Brady, deify Tom Brady, and almost ignore him. So I think Belichick is under a lot more pressure. I think that he has to win. I don't care who it's with. He won't win with Cam Newton. I'm tired of people making it seem like Cam Newton is just this better option. Cam Newton is coming off of an injury-plagued career over the past few years. Injury-plagued career over the past few years. So you mean to tell me he's going to come to New England and the injuries will be non-existent? A lot of those issues he had will be non-existent. I don't think so. And I don't know if New England will be as successful with Cam Newton. I'm not going to say as successful. I'm going to say I don't think they'll be nearly, not even close, as successful as New England has been with Tom Brady under the helm. Not even close. And I heard somebody come out and say that New England having Cam was better than having Tom last year. We'll see. And we can't really judge one year based on another because the weapons are different. The scheme is going to be different. And a lot of those younger guys that really didn't play so well last year, they're a year smarter, a year stronger, a year more capable. They may play different. And if N'Keal Harry is healthy from beginning to end, that's a major difference. So, let's get to it.
Wind up as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. Wrap your mind around that one.
You get yourself in a situation like this. This is a great opportunity. We're going to be in it at the end. There's no team that's going to run away from us.
Tom Brady and Bill Belichick will be on different sidelines for the first time in 2 decades, and now that they've split, Tom's new team has odds almost twice as high to win the Super Bowl as Belichick's. Tampa Bay 11-1 odds, New England 20-1 odds. LaShawn McCoy back here with us. Great to have you as a part of the debate. We'll get to you in just a moment. Max Kellerman, you are up first. Who has more to prove this season? Tom Brady or Bill Belichick?
They're both the GOATs. So you can argue their legacy's already cemented, but this is a legitimate question because the question has always been, it's one of the great sports debates of our time. Has it been more Brady or more Belichick? The answer is pretty obviously it's been more Belichick.
Bullshit. The things that, and I've said this before, the things that Tom made it easy and made it accessible for Belichick to do with the team, with him just taking pay cuts, but then also being able to just build the system around Brady, who Brady coming into the league was incredibly competitive. So if he could just produce on the field, that kind of guy, you put whoever you want around him, and he's going to find a way to make it work. Even though last year was a complete disaster, and most people think that the defense was 99% of the reason why that team was 12-4, Brady still did what he could with the offense. With the depleted ass offense. He still did what he could, which was still impressive. You know, so when you have a guy like that, and let me clarify this: if you watch the Brady Six, and you saw the beginning segment of that video, you know that Belichick didn't draft Tom Brady. Well, it wasn't his idea to draft Tom Brady. It was not his idea to draft Tom Brady. The quarterback coach of the team, of the New England Patriots, suggested they draft Tom Brady. And then that coach died like a year or so later. But he was the one that suggested to Bill, draft this guy. So if we want to talk about who's responsible for New England's success, we need to start dishing some credit to this quarterback coach who pretty much vouched for Tom before Tom even played a game in the league. I mean, let's give that guy some credit. But without Tom Brady, Belichick has never made the playoff. Well, I can't say that. As a head coach, without Tom Brady, he's made the playoff one time. And that was back in Cleveland in the mid-90s. His first year in New England, he went 5-11 with a franchise quarterback in Drew Bledsoe, who got a 10-year contract that season. Franchise quarterback. They went 5-11. Bledsoe gets hurt the very next year. This Brady's second season. Bledsoe gets hurt. Brady gets put in. That team moves damn near seamlessly. And they go on to win the Super Bowl. So let's not act like Tom Brady had pretty much nothing to do with the success of that team. Tom Brady had everything to do with the success of that team. And let's, I'm going to wait, but let's get to it.
Let's start with the record. Okay. People love to point to Bill Belichick's record as a head coach without Tom Brady, but that includes the Cleveland years. You know, when we look at what I look at, Teddy.
That team, that Cleveland team, I'm not even going to say they were as talented as the teams that we've seen in New England. I'm not going to say that. But I think given enough time in Cleveland, I think Belichick and that coaching staff could have turned that team into a perennial powerhouse. He started to do a good job. You started to see a progression in that team with Belichick at the helm. But I guess it wasn't a long enough project. And it just didn't get to where it was at that point. But, it's fine. It's fine. You move on. Life moves on. You have to find a way to make do afterwards. So, Belichick goes on to the New York Jets. Coaches as an assistant behind Bill Parcells. When Parcells leaves the Jets, he pretty much gives the job to Belichick. Belichick realized this is a major fucking mistake. He retires before the press conference. Okay? Before the press conference, I can't do it, and goes to New England. They go 5-11 the very next year. Brady is drafted the year they go 5-11. The very next year, Brady starts. They win the Super Bowl. In 2008, 2009, one of those years, Brady gets hurt at the beginning of the season. Matt Castle comes in. He has the benefit of playing with pretty much an undefeated team the previous year, with a Wes Welker, with a Randy Moss, Lawrence Maroney, that defense, okay? Not a perfect team, but you still have a 16-0 team behind this kid. And Matt Castle and Brady pretty much plays a similar style of football. So you don't have to change much. You just may have to simplify some areas to help ease him into it. And Castle played well. Kudos to him. But Castle has proved that he is not starting quarterback material. He proved that. So let's not act like, let's not act like anybody could get in that job and do it consistently as long as Brady has done it. So,
Bridgewater's record as a quarterback, I throw out his rookie season, which wasn't bad, but tells a very different story than once he got his feet wet and entered his more, fully mature phase of his career. So Bill Belichick, for a dysfunctional organization, actually took them to the playoffs once, but I'm not looking at the Browns. I'm looking at since he took over New England. Since Tom Brady took over the reins, what has Belichick done with and without Tom Brady? Does Tom Brady give you a premium over anyone else? Because it's not like the Patriots. Matt Castle went on to do great things when he was off the Patriots. The answer is yes. Tom Brady is the GOAT. He gives you a premium over just another quarterback who Belichick has used. But in Brady's absence, since he took over as the full-time starter, the Patriots are 13-6. They win more than twice as much as they lose. They were 10-5 in 15 games with Matt Castle.
That's not even, first of all, that's not a large enough sample size. That's a little over one season. And a majority of those games, which is like 95% of those games, came in one season when Brady went down with a season-ending injury. So let's not do that. Let's not do that. That's taking numbers and that's manipulating them and twisting them to feed whatever it is whatever narrative you're trying to push. That's not fair. Okay? It's not like Belichick has had the privilege of coaching another quarterback for multiple seasons. At most, it was one season, and that was because Brady went down with a season-ending injury. And if Matt Castle was able to get that team to 11-5, trust Brady would have had that team on a 14-2 path, possibly going back to another Super Bowl. So let's not twist it up here.
They were 2-0 with Garoppolo and 1-1 with Brissett. There's 13.
And let's also look at the teams they played. The toughest schedule between Jacoby Brissett and Jimmy Garoppolo, the toughest team they played during the 4 games that they started was the Houston Texans. And they did a pretty decent job. The defense played well. I believe Garoppolo was the one that started. No, it was Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett, God damn it, I would have to go back and look. But they won that game. That was the best team they played, the Houston Texans. Every other team was beatable. Let's not act like they went up against, powerhouses back to back, and they performed unbelievably well. Jacoby Brissett is a really good quarterback. I think he's majorly underrated. I think he's underappreciated to a point where it's almost disrespectful, because I think when he got to Indianapolis and he played in absence of Andrew Luck, he did a phenomenal job. He even did a great job last year after the sudden retirement of Andrew Luck. So let's be fair. And I've often criticized Jimmy Garoppolo because I don't think that he is this franchise quarterback that people keep saying he is. But he's not terrible either. So come on, man.
13-6 without Tom Brady. And people talk a lot about how, other than a couple of years here and there, it's not like they had marquee names all over the offense and this and that.
They didn't. For the first, 8 years of Brady's career, he has never had a Pro Bowl weapon. I'm not talking about offensive linemen. I'm talking about Pro Bowl weapon at the receiver positions, at the tight ends positions, at the running back positions. Now, I may be wrong. I mean, Corey Dillon might have been a Pro Bowler. That's a chance. But Corey Dillon did go to he got there, and then they went to 2 Super Bowls, and then he left. So there's a chance that he never even got a chance to be a Pro Bowler. But until they got Randy Moss, they have never had a Pro Bowler other than Brady on that offense, as far as position players and not offensive linemen.
Okay, so how did Matt Castle win those 10 games? Why were they 3-1 in Brady's absence with Garoppolo and Brissett? It's because Bill Belichick is the greatest coach of all time. Well, then why hasn't his coaching tree had more success? Well, Part of the infrastructure he's created is a whole bunch of people behind the scenes you don't hear a lot about outside of New England, like Ernie Adams and others, who don't go with those assistant coaches and defensive and offensive coordinators when they leave for new jobs. But that credit accrues to the...
One can make an argument that the Patriot way, or the infrastructure that the New England Patriots have when it comes to their team, their locker room, and their ball club, that Patriot way, thing that, people talk about. One can make an argument that the only reason why that works at all is because of Brady. The only reason why that works at all is because of Brady. Because many people have said it, and it's just very true. When you have a leader that is willing to be the example of what a coach expects from every player, when you have a star player, one of the greatest players of all time, who's willing to be subjected to those kind of things, to be an example, it forces everybody else to either fall in line or get out the way. Now, Belichick's a great coach, man. Like, some of his schemes, some of his tactics, some of the things that he's able to do is incredible. Sometimes I question a lot of what Belichick does, and then it turns out that this dude had a plan and it was right. He's a great coach, great strategist. That cannot be taken away from him. But even Belichick has said, you need players to win. You need great players to win. He even said it himself. Ask Belichick, could you have done over the past 20 years what you have done without Brady? And a real man would tell the truth. And I believe the truth is no. Because Brady's temperament, Brady's attitude, and his understanding of the situation, it led to that team's success. And the respect that other players have for him led to that team's success.
Coach. So Belichick, the GOAT, who in Brady's absence has still won twice as much as he's lost, versus Brady, who's ever only played for Belichick.
Incredibly misleading and just not fair. Because coaches don't get injured. Coaches get sick. Coaches get hurt. They sit out for a game possibly. But they're not out there playing on the field. It's not fair. Because if coaches had the same risk of getting injured like players do, then we probably would have seen Brady without Belichick. It's not fair to make that. It's not fair to make that comparison because coaches aren't subject to the same risk that players are. So coaches are a lot more durable than players are. So
in this season, it is Brady, who, by the way, is going to a place that's loaded and left the cupboard bare for Belichick, who's also a great...
He didn't leave nothing bare. And that was one of the problems I had. One of the many problems I had with what Max was trying to allude to. Brady didn't leave nothing bare. Belichick did that. Belichick didn't resign certain players. Belichick put certain players in place. Belichick, instead of drafting better or drafting, to suit the needs of the team, decided that he just wanted to, when your offensive linemen start going down one by one, you was just going to reach into free agency and just start picking people up. Belichick did that. Belichick has that tight end situation looking like that. So come on, man. Come on, bro.
GM, by the way, which is how he scooped up Cam Newton for peanuts. Brady has more to prove.
Yeah, let's not talk about that like that's some kind of accomplishment. And this is the third person I heard say this, where it's like this huge deal that the New England Patriots was able to get Cam Newton for such a small amount of money. Cam had no choice. No other team signed him. No other team offered him anything. Cam was in free agency. Cam was majorly screwed by the Carolina Panthers, but Cam had no options. They could have came to him and said, "Look, man, we'll give you $200,000, and we'll give you like a bus pass for the year." Okay, if Cam wanted to play, he had to accept the terms. It's not like he could barter. It's not like he could barter. It's not like he could barter. And Cam sees this as an opportunity to prove that he's not done. He's also going to an organization that spent the last 20 years winning and going to the playoffs. He's not going to pass up this opportunity for pride and money. Let's not misread the situation like it's something it's not. But I think he's done here. Let me see. Yeah, he's done. So I did Max's part, man. Like as you can see, man, I had a lot of issues with what he was saying, and Max is one of those guys that he says really nice things. He says really flattering things at times, but when you really dig deep into what he's saying and dissect every sentence, he's actually very insulting, condescending, belittling. He's one of those dudes that think just because he went to college, that his opinion, although it's his opinion, and he's afforded his own opinion, that that it allows him to, I guess, play both sides of the fence. It's kind of weird, man. You see the same thing with Skip Bayless, where they will say flattering things, they will say nice things, but when they turn on the hate, it's very scorching. Like with the Skip Bayless and Earl Thomas situation, where Skip Bayless kept flattering the guy, saying all these nice and great things about him. And he was talking about how he should go to the Cowboys, how he wanted to go to the Cowboys. When he got the opportunity to play with the Cowboys, he went to Baltimore. That very next day, or the very next opportunity when he was on TV to talk about Earl Thomas signing with the Baltimore Ravens, he criticized his decision making. He criticized his decision making because he did not want to sign with the Cowboys. So you see this a lot with these dudes, man. One day, man, they're gonna come face to face with a dude that has some real gripes against them. Like, I don't know, man. Kyrie Irving doesn't strike me as the type, but if Kyrie Irving ever felt like he needed to hash shit out with fucking Matt Kellerman, it could be done deal for Kellerman. But let's just move on, I guess. All right.